Hare Krishna. Hi everyone. Welcome.
Welcome to part 5 of Selenium interview questions and answers. In case you have not seen the part 1, 2, 3, 4 of this video series, please check the description for the video links. Let us continue with the other interview questions and answers. The next question is, what is the difference between driver.findElement and driver.findElements? Driver.findElement returns a single web element based on the locator passed as a parameter. If there are multiple web elements found on the UI for the same locator, only first element will be returned as a output of findElement method, whereas findElements will return a list of web elements satisfying the locator value passed. If you see the syntax, driver.findElements will return a web element, driver.findElements will return a list of web elements. The major difference between these two is that whenever there is no matching found for the find element, it will throw no such element exception, and if there is no matching elements found by find elements, then it returns a empty list or a list with 0 element. The next question, what is the difference between maximum sessions versus maximum instances properties in the Selenium grid? Here is the command line to start the Selenium grid, and here as a parameter -browsers, we can pass browser name, the maximum instances, maximum sessions of the browser. The question is, what is the difference between the maximum sessions and maximum instances properties passed for -browser configuration? Let us see the answer. First one is maximum instances. It is nothing but number of browser instances of the same version of the browser that can be run on the remote machine. For example, if you say the maximum instance is 2 for IE browser, then it will allow us to run 2 instances of IE browser at the same time in parallel in the remote machine. The other property is maximum sessions. It controls how many browsers independent of type and versions run in a parallel on the remote machine. It supersedes the maximum instance settings. If maximum session is 1, then no more than the single browser would be run on the remote machine. If the maximum session is 2, then we can run 2 instances of any browser in a parallel in a remote machine. In simple words, both these configurations are used to control how many instances of browser can be run in a remote machine. Maximum session will take the higher precedence over maximum instances settings. Next question, how to find whether element is displayed on a web page or not? WebDriver provides following methods to check the visibility of web elements. The first one is isDisplayed method. The syntax is driver.findElement.isDisplayed. The return type is boolean. The next method is isSelected. The syntax is driver.findElement.isSelected and return type is boolean. This is applicable for radio boxes and checkboxes. The next method is isEnabled. The syntax is driver.findElement.isEnabled. It can be applied to any type of web element and the return type is boolean. The next question is how to select a value in the dropdown. We can select a value from the dropdown using a select class provided by WebDriver. The syntax is, first we need to create an object of select class. Select dropdown is equal to new select, and we need to pass the web element as an argument. Then we can use this reference variable of a select class to call the inbuilt method present in the select class, such as select by visible text, select by index, select by a value, to select the value from the dropdown. The next question, how to capture screenshot in a Selenium WebDriver. We know that test case might fail while executing the test scripts. During the manual testing, we just take a screenshot of a failed test case and place it in the repository. The same we need to do it in automation using Selenium WebDriver. Some of the scenarios where we need to capture screenshot using Selenium WebDriver are when there is an application issue occurs, or during the assertion failures, whenever there is a difficulty to find the web elements on the web page, and whenever there is a timeout happens to find the web elements on the web page. Here is the code to capture the screenshot and copy it to the specified location. Let us see the Java code to capture the screenshot. First, we need to upcast driver instance to the take screenshot interface. Then we can call the method getScreenshot as present in the take screenshot interface to capture the screenshot, which takes the argument output type.file, and we store that file into and we capture that screenshot into a file class. Then we can copy this file to the specified location using fileutils.copyFile method. Here take screenshot is an interface, driver is instance of Chrome driver class or a Firefox driver class or any other driver class. A getScreenshotAs is a method present in the take screenshot interface, and this method is implemented in the respective classes like Chrome driver, Firefox driver, and all other specific drivers of WebDriver. The next question: how to mouse over on a web element using WebDriver? By using an action class, we can mouse over on a web element. Let us see the Java code to implement the mouse over action using WebDriver. First, we need to create an object of action class. Action is equal to new actions of driver. Then we can call the inbuilt method present in the action class action.move to element of, which takes the argument element. Therefore, action.move to element.perform. Next question: how we can handle web-based pop-ups and alerts in a Selenium? To handle web-based alerts and pop-up, we need to do a switch to the alert window and call Selenium WebDriver alert API methods such as dismiss to click on the cancel button on the alert, accept to click on the OK button on the pop-up, get text to get the text which is present on the alert, send keys. Send keys is used to enter the text into the alert box. The next question: how can we handle Windows-based pop-ups? Selenium doesn't support Windows-based applications. It is an automation testing tool which supports only web-based applications. We could handle Windows-based pop-ups in Selenium using some third-party tools like AutoIt and Robot class. Next question: how to handle hidden elements in Selenium WebDriver? We can handle hidden elements in a Selenium WebDriver using JavaScript executor. The syntax is JavaScript executor of driver.execute script. Here we are upcasting the driver instance variable to the JavaScript executor interface, and we are calling a method .execute script, and we need to pass the argument document.getElement by locator.click. The next question: how to find broken links in a page using Selenium WebDriver? So here is the pseudocode to find the broken link in a page using Selenium WebDriver. First, we need to load the URL on the browser using driver.get method, passing the URL of the website. Then call the method driver.findElements by tag name A, which returns all the links present in the page. We capture that using list of web elements, call it as links. Then we can iterate through each web element using for loop. For int is equal to 0, I less than links.size I++. Then we will get each web element using links.get method, store it into a web element, call it as element. Then we can get the URL of the element using getAttribute method and store it into a variable URL of type string. Now we can have a separate method to verify it's a valid link or a broken link. Let's add a separate method, publish static void verify link, which takes the parameter string URL of link. Now let us add a core logic to verify whether link is a valid link. First, we convert the given string into a URL by creating an object of URL class, new URL of URL link, and we call that reference variable as link. Then we can call the method link.openConnection, upcast it to the HTTP URL connection, then set the connection timeout as 2000. Finally, connect to the URL using .connect method. If the response code is 200, that means it's a valid link. Just print the link along with the response code. So if the response code is 404, that means it's a broken link. Just print back URL link along with the response message. And let's see some of the HTTP status codes. 200 means a valid link, 404 link not found, 400 is a bad request, 401 is unauthorized access, 500 is an internal error. The next question: how to find more than one web element in a list? We can do that using driver.findElements method, which returns a list of web elements. If a list of web element.size is greater than 1, then we can print that saying there are more than one web element in the list. The next question: how to read a JavaScript variable in a Selenium WebDriver? By using JavaScript executor, we can get the title of JavaScript variable in a Selenium WebDriver. First, we need to initialize the JavaScript object. The JavaScript executor JS is equal to JavaScript executor of driver. Then to get the title of the JavaScript variable, we need to call the execute script method present in the JavaScript executor js.execute script, which takes the argument return.document.title. Then we cast it to the string and store it into variable called title. Finally, print the title of web page using system.out.println. Next question, what is JavaScript executor and in which cases JavaScript executor will help in Selenium automation? In general, we click on an element using click method in Selenium. For example, driver.findElement.click. Some web controls don't react well against the Selenium commands. We may face issues with the above statement click. To overcome such kind of situation, we might need to use JavaScript executor interface. It provides a mechanism to execute the JavaScript through a Selenium driver. It has two methods, execute script and execute async script, to run the JavaScript in a context of currently selected frame or a window. Let's see the syntax. JavaScript executor JS is equal to JavaScript executor of driver. We are upcasting the driver instance variable to the JavaScript executor interface. Then we can call the js.execute script method by passing the actual JavaScript and the arguments, which is optional. Then JavaScript executor might return one of these, either boolean, long, string, list, web element or a null value. Let's see the sum of real-time scenarios we might need to use JavaScript executor interface. To handle the scenarios like type the text in Selenium WebDriver without using a send keys method, and to click on a button in a Selenium WebDriver using JavaScript. And sometimes we might need to handle the checkboxes. Also, we can use JavaScript executor to generate alert pop-up window in a Selenium. Also, we can refresh the browser window using JavaScript. And sometimes to get the inner text of an entire web page in a Selenium, we can use a JavaScript. To get the title of the web page, to get the domain, to get the URL of a web page, we can use the JavaScript. Also, most of the time, we use the JavaScript executor to scroll to the element of the application using Selenium. And also, a most common scenario like clicking on a submenu which is visible only on the mouse over of main menu, we can use the JavaScript executor. Also, sometimes navigates to the different pages of the application, we can use the JavaScript executor. Next question, how do you read test data from Excel? Test data can be efficiently read from the Excel using third-party library Apache Py APIs. Next question, is it possible to automate the CAPTCHA using Selenium? No, it's not possible to automate CAPTCHA and barcode reader using Selenium WebDriver. Next question, can we use Selenium for REST API testing or web services testing? Selenium is not a tool for API testing. It automates web browsers. REST API and web services does not contain any UI, so we cannot automate REST APIs using Selenium WebDriver. Next question, how to handle AJAX calls in Selenium WebDriver? Handling AJAX call is one of the most common issues when using Selenium WebDriver. Let's understand what is AJAX. AJAX stands for Asynchronous JavaScript and XML. AJAX allows the web page to retrieve small amounts of data from the server without reloading the entire page. AJAX sends HTTP requests from the client to the server, then processes the server's response without reloading the entire page. To handle AJAX controls, wait command may not work. It is just because actual page is not going to refresh. For example, when you want to click on a submit button, the required information may appear on the web page without refreshing the browser. Sometimes it may load in seconds and sometimes it may take longer. We have no control over loading time. The best approach to handle this kind of situation in Selenium is to use the dynamic waits, WebDriver wait, in combination with expected condition. Some of the methods which are available to handle the AJAX elements are wait out until the expected condition is title, or wait out until element to be clickable, wait for the alert is present, wait for text to be present in the element, and some other explicit wait methods should be used to handle the AJAX elements. Next question, list some of the scenarios which we cannot automate using Selenium WebDriver. Bitmap comparison is not possible using Selenium WebDriver. Automating CAPTCHA is not possible using Selenium WebDriver. Also, we cannot read the barcode using Selenium WebDriver. These are the limitations of Selenium WebDriver, which cannot be automated. Next question, What is an object repository in Selenium WebDriver? Object repository is used to store the element locator values in centralized location instead of hard-coding them within the scripts. We do create a property file .properties to store the all element locators, and these property files acts as the object repository in Selenium WebDriver. Next question, how do you build object repository in your project? In Selenium, there is no default object repository concept. We build object repository in our Selenium framework by placing all the locators in a separate properties file. Next question, how can you use recovery scenario in Selenium WebDriver? By using try catch block within a Selenium WebDriver Java test, we can handle the recovery scenario. Once we encounter any exception, we can handle that exception and perform alternative action to proceed with the text execution.
Thanks for watching.